Pleasure to follow all of the noble lords who've spoken in this group, and as has already been said, I attach my name to Amendment 87 in the name of Noble Lord Lord Teverson and the Noble Lady Baroness Boycott, and also to Amendment 93. I'm going to seek to add rather than repeat what's already been said. But I do just also want to follow the Noble Lady Baroness Young of Old Scone in addressing Amendment 88, and to agree that I'm also not sure about the percentages. But I would particularly highlight the ancient woodland, how terribly important and how terribly rare that is. And so Clause D in that amendment is, there is no way we should be doing anything to damage ancient woodland for energy. It is such a precious resource. And noble lords have heard me go on before about we look at the trees, but let's see the soil as well and how incredibly precious the biodiversity in soil in ancient woodland is. But coming to Amendment 87, I think biomass is now a very dirty word, and the noble Lord Teverson rhetorically said what could possibly go wrong. Of course, that has already been answered with the single term DRAX. And to quote the energy think tank Ember, DRAX is the UK's largest emitter. The power is more expensive than gas, it's more polluting than coal, and it's more dependent on imports than oil. And there should be no future biomass at DRAX. That's my position and the Green Party's position. It really is a tragedy that we didn't get to that point when we recently had the opportunity. But I think I think the noble Lady Baroness Boycott picked this point up, and I signed this amendment, but I'm almost tempted towards saying just simply no biomass from forests, because I think, as the noble Lady Baroness Boycott said, waste material, what does that actually mean? We're thinking about biodiversity, we're thinking about organic material that is a resource. If you leave it on the forest floor, it contributes to the generation of soil, it provides habitat for a huge variety of organisms, and is that really waste at all? Is there any such thing in a forest? That really is a question. We need to be thinking about having a war on tidiness. The idea of any sort of planting, that we want these nice neat rows with clean bare soil in between, what kind of damage that does. And particularly addressing Amendment 93, I do want to draw the noble lady, I believe the minister's attention to a study that was out last year, actually funded by the Forestry Commission. It was entitled Rapid Review of Evidence on Biodiversity in Great Britain's Commercial Forests. And it found that there's actually a huge shortage of data, a huge shortage of information about what's happening in the biodiversity, specifically in commercial high forests. And the noble Lady Baroness Young raised the issue of the land use strategy. How can we be making the plans within this bill, or indeed for the land use strategy, if we don't have the data about the biodiversity, which this study funded by the Forestry Commission identified? And I'd also point to another Forestry Commission study from the year before, from 2023, late 2023, which warned of the risk of catastrophic ecosystem collapse in our forests. This was signed, the work of 42 experts, pointing out all of the risks that our forests face from wind, from fire, from pests and diseases, and saying there are already forests in continental Europe and North America where we have seen this kind of biological collapse. So we've got to be thinking about making sure that the Forestry Commission is given the statutory duty, which this Amendment 93 does, to make sure that it looks after biodiversity, as well as, of course, the crucial issue of the climate emergency. And it is worth saying, repeating again and again, we are incredibly forest and woodland deprived in the UK by international comparisons, and we have to look after what's there for human health, for well-being, for the climate and for nature.